Hello. I gotta get my knitting out. Oh, how is everybody? Oh gosh. Okay. And surprise. Whew. Hello, my friend. Hello, Nikki. How are you? Hi. Oh, every time I say hi, her tail starts wagging. You guys probably can't see. Hang on. My friend. They both tried to get in the chair with me, but we can't all fit. Hello. Abir, are you home? You must be home safely now. I am great, thanks. Doing great. What? Oh yeah, when they want to squeeze in with me all the time. Well, Elvis got here last, and he was huffing and sighing and mad. Oh my goodness, are you all messed up on your time, Abir? Hello, Chris. I can hear John upstairs. Maybe he came down to get Elvis. I don't know. Hello, Linda. Oh. Hi, Susan. Oh, Mel. I probably should have poured myself like a wee gin fizz or something, but that's okay. Nikki said, I was sick a lot this year and I'm spinning again, falling in love all over again. That is awesome. I don't know why, but in the summer I stopped spinning a lot of the time. So I'm feeling like I'm ready to get spinning again. Hello, Marie. I've been back a little bit, Marie. Jurup said, oh, hello, long time no see. Hello. Abir said, I can't tell day from night, so I'm shopping for fabric. Hey, you guys, I have a question. This is a good group of people for me to ask this question of. So if you are out in public and someone makes what I would consider like a socially inappropriate comment, it's not you, although maybe you do. We all do sometimes. What do you do? Do you say like, hey, that wasn't, do you say later? Hey, that's not a word that we use anymore, or I was uncomfortable when you use that word. Like, what do you do anything? Do you just let it go? Because I'm telling you, I froze. That happened to me today. I froze in the moment and I didn't know what to do. And afterwards I was like, well, what is the right thing that I could have done? Because freezing in the moment seemed like the only thing anyone could do. What do you do? Mel said, our AC is broken, so needed a cool bev. Carrie said it's tough to spin with a lot of humidity. That could be why. And we don't really, well, I don't like to turn the air on during the day, and even in summer. Sometimes John wants to, but just at night. So yeah, sometimes it's hot in the house. Hello, Candy. Carrie said I call it out. Mel said yes, but say it later. It isn't someone I know super well either. Like if it was a good friend, I would definitely later on say like, hey. So it wasn't a slur, but it was what would be considered inappropriate now that in this person's like youth would have been normal to hear every day. Oh, I got to fix the camera again. I don't know why this keeps happening. Hang on. I know she did not mean to, sorry. I know she did not mean to say anything, but it was like a generational thing. And I was just like, oh my gosh. It was really uncomfortable for me. Sorry, I'm just fixing my camera. I don't know why it keeps freezing. It's so strange. Okay, Susan said she would ignore it and not give it any attention. All right, now why is that happening? There we go. Yay, okay, I fixed it. Someone's head is like behind my back and she's asleep. Completely asleep. So I agree. Okay. So Susan said I would ignore it and not give it any attention. Lee said derogatory. I don't really even want to repeat it because I feel uncomfortable even saying it. I'm sweating talking about it. It was a really uncomfortable moment for me. And Candy said, what you're working on, color looks like copper. Carrie said, older people can learn better too. I think maybe that is what I should do. Like, sometime when it's just the two of us, I should just say, hey, thought maybe you didn't know. That's not really a word we use anymore. A lot of people could take offense. And then just leave it to her. Does that make sense? Aaron said, I leave it. They look bad anyway. I guess that is, my feeling is like, you know, I would never do that purposely. I guess it's possible that I just wouldn't know that a word, you know, that I grew up with. I don't know. John just brought me something, you guys. Is this a cocktail? Is it? Yay. Cocktail hour. Thank you. He left already. What?
Where's Elvis?
Probably on the couch. He was mad because he couldn't fit in the chair with us. I'm sweating because of what we were talking about. Okay, Mel said also depends on the
people.
He said thumbs up. Mel said also it depends on if the person it was directed at was impacted by it. Yes, they were. Definitely. Abir said, as an official old person now, according to my niece, it's hard for some people to change certain language. I agree, Abir. Marie said, I'm usually tolerant. That's one of the reasons why I'm like, should I even say anything? I don't know. Marie said, I'm usually tolerant until I am not. At that point, I would tell them it's not appropriate. Sometimes grace is required. There are a lot of people on the spectrum. I don't think that's the case, although who knows? Mel said, how do you think that might make that person feel? Abir said, FYI, people don't take kindly to being correct in this day and age. Just my observation. You mean corrected? Yeah. Lee said, Carrie, but I give slack to older people. It was the way of the world 80 years ago. I hear what you guys are saying, and I think it makes sense for me to just say, hey, thought maybe you didn't know. And what she chooses to do with that information is up to her. But maybe she doesn't know. Lee said, Carrie, but I give slack to older people. It was the way of the world 80 years ago. Carrie said, I'm thinking less of the speaker and more. It was, someone was definitely like, ooh. And it was like, I don't know. I don't want to repeat what happened. Someone in earshot who could be hurt by the words, who wish someone would speak up for them. Jerome said, public, I don't go out in public often, and I usually am wearing big headphones to signal other people to not speak to me, so I'm not much help. Maybe I just need to start wearing earphones. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because I was so uncomfortable that I was like, I gotta go home. This is too uncomfortable for me. Please don't do this. Deb said, oh, guess that cues me to grab a mommy seltzer. I think that's probably what's in here. Yep. Yes, Elvis is pouting somewhere. While I was getting set up, he came in here, walked around, looked at this chair, like was trying to figure out how he could get up into it, and then eventually just walked away. But his tail was wagging, so I think he's okay. Abir said, yes, correct. Okay, so that is what you meant. Mel said, that sounds like a great plan. Yeah, I mean, she'll say to me, like, I don't care. And that's okay. I mean, not okay, but that's her choice. I have dog hair on me. Lisa, you do your gut. Every situation is different. Elsbeth, you are pretty close to the start. I don't know exactly how long it's been, but I just asked for some advice. Speaking of which, Elsbeth donated some, I think, Falkland. I never opened the box. Some Falkland for us to give away during Tour de Fleece. And because I sat out this year, I think I'm going to go ahead and dye it and give it away anyway on the channel. Elsbeth, are you okay with that if it's not during the tour, or would you like me to hold it? And am I putting you on the spot? Let's talk about it later. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have even done that. I should have waited. Okay. Hey, Venus. She said, I can't believe I caught your live. Mel said, also, I definitely need to buy big headphones for travel. People can't see earbuds with my hair. I'm sure that would be the case with me, too. Hello, Erica. Drup said, big headphones are great. You don't even play. You don't even need music playing through them, right? Nikki said, call them out. As a person who has been offended by this kind of stuff, correct them. I wish more people would stand up for what is right. I will definitely say something next time. What? Hey, Kai. There's a bunch of... Really? Uh-oh. We better open it. We'll have a fun time with that then. Carrie said, Nikki, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That was... I mean, in the moment, it was a pretty sizable... It was like 10 people, probably. I wouldn't want to do it in front of everybody, but I will say something. And I'll just approach it as kindly as I can. So uncomfortable, guys. I'm still like... Elspeth said, do all the things, give it away. Okay, good. Good. Thank you. I'm sorry. I should definitely have spoken to you first. I don't know. Sometimes I need to read Tony Robbins' book on blurting. Hello, Leafland Fibers. How are you? Good thing it's not perishable. I put it up in the spot where I save prize stuff. Mel said, as my friend Elizabeth says, I'm not here to make airport friends. A beer. Do they though? People who talk to me when I'm holding a book or my Kindle or whatever, they're asking for it. That's all I can say. Because I might have rage. Oh, sorry. Candy asked me what I was knitting. And I skipped it. Candy. It is a sweater for John. It's going to look enormous, but he tried it on and it was okay. He's pretty good size. He's not enormous by any means. It is just a kind of plain man's cardigan that has a big shawl collar and a V-neck on it. So he asked, that blue one that I did last year that had big cables? He likes it, but he says it's too heavy sometimes, so he wants one without cables because the cables make it even hotter. So this year he picked out a plain one. But I have to tell you that the plain stockinette, it is making me tired. Nikki said, even write them a message and tell them you felt so uncomfortable you had to leave, and after reflecting, you feel the need to mention to them it is not okay to use that word anymore. Yeah. Maybe. I do not know if I have like email or anything else for her. We're not friends. We just are in a social setting occasionally. Know what I mean? Thanks, Erica. John picked it out. It is Cascade 220. I cannot remember the name of the color. Oh, I might have skein. Hang on. But I don't know if the color names are on these or if... Kenny said it's going to be a sharp-looking cardigan. I remember the other one. Yeah, there's no name. It's just $24.35. Like, thank you so much. I call this like a russet, but it definitely has a copper tone to it, let's say. Thanks, Mel. Katie says it's going to be a sharp looking cardigan. I remember the other one. He looks so good in a cardigan. Like a Grampy style sweater. Just looks so good on him. Chris said, I once read the suggestion that if someone says something offensive, you can politely ask them to repeat it. They usually won't. It wasn't me, Kai. Someone said something, in my opinion, ethnically insensitive. And I was there when it happened. And I was like, and I froze and didn't say anything. And now I'm like, how would you guys handle that? Would you say something to the person later and say, hey, maybe you just didn't know? But, you know, so, but I appreciate that. I would if it was me, but I froze, like for real froze. And then I had to go, I was like, I got to go home. I can't do this. Yes, Erica said copper russet. Hello, Anne. Marie said tell them they need to deposit $5 in the potty mouth jar. That would have been so bad. Yeah, it is like a Japanese maple, kind of. Not quite as, well, we have one and it's a little more red. But I bet you there are some that have this. It's pretty, isn't it? Carrie said, Chris, I love that. Lisa, well, apparently I don't have as good of a RBF as I think because people still approach. I actually like people most of the time, but today I had to run away from them. This is the second time. I should have said that too. A totally different thing happened with the same situation. Like, but it was a different word was used, but this inappropriate level was the same and the reason was the same. Kai said, oh, wait a minute. Let me back up. Leafland said, I'm well. How are you? I'm in the mood for a yellow garment and saw a dreamy heathered yellow from Cascade Yarns. I do love me some Cascade. Nicole said, hello, caught live. Nice to see you. Good to see you too. Kai said, oh God, I hate that. As a person who has a non-white side of the family, I would go all out on them. I wish you were there then, Kai. Okay, well, I'm overreacting, but you get it. I really wish someone more articulate had been there. Hey, Sarah. Susan. Okay, my opinion was that several of us, if not all of us, went either silently, but still physically, you could see it. But no one said anything because we were all like, Anne said, I work with a bunch of prior military guys. They try really hard to clean up their language in front of me. Oh, that's nice. Elspeth said, with those awkward situations, I end up stewing on them for days. Afterward, replaying the convo with different reactions. I won't be caught out again if I rehearse different options for reactions. I love that idea, but I feel like no matter how much I rehearsed, it would be something else where I was like, ah. Mel said, Elspeth, missed you too. I followed your mighty Greek adventure. I did too, Elspeth. It was amazing. Jurup said, if you were in a group of 10 people, then there were 8 other people who could have said something. It's not all, no, it isn't all on me. But if we're all thinking that it's on someone else, it's never going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Peg said, no, Trish, I just looked, oh, Japanese, okay. Thank you for looking it up. That was really nice. It's a heather one too. I don't like the flat color ones as much. Candy said, I would like to think I would say something, but I am certain I would have froze too. Chris, no, definitely not. This is not a person who is in tune with the reactions of others if they're subtle, let's say. I don't know why I'm laughing because it was not funny. It was so not okay. Carrie said, Kai, I feel that if someone is being a bigot, they don't deserve the courtesy of telling them privately they didn't have any. But when they're older and in their youth, this word would have been completely appropriate. Isn't it possible? Shouldn't I assume not bad intent, but that they just are ignorant of the fact that it has changed, if that makes sense? Elspeth said, I've been known to kick someone out of my house who made a racist joke. 25 years later, my friend still comments that it was amazing. I don't blame you, Elspeth. I hate that stuff. I feel so uncomfortable. Hello, Terry. Elspeth said, holy, that was a parenthetical nightmare post. Sorry. Don't worry about that. It wasn't. I thought it made sense. Carrie said, empathy? Sunny said, I find that moments like this are best handled privately. A beer, but the thing is, then I at least know that I took away that possibility that it was just an ignorance of the intent and the word. Now I've taken that away. So if it happens again, then I can say, hey, not okay. Zip it. Elspeth said, I get what you're saying about intent and context matters. If you think about, Nikki said, if you think about what to say the next time, you are right. Something different could happen and throw you. And then it's also days of stewing, and that is rent free in your head. So text. Yeah, I don't have her number. Mel said, I had a similar thing happen with a family member. My hubs did the best job in the situation. I was just about ready to lose it. Anyway, that was my afternoon. How are ya? It was fine. It wasn't fine, but it was fine. Nobody died. Carrie said, a beer, it's more for the target person. Yes, the target person was definitely if that makes sense. But then that person was much, much, much younger, maybe mid-20s, mid to late 20s. I don't know exactly. Lee said, yes, an 18-year-old can't tell a 90-year-old the way of the world lived it. It doesn't go over well. I don't know how that would have been. So they know it's a safe space. Yes. Lisa said, good evening. Nice to see you all. Hello, Elizabeth. Elizabeth got a new car. And it's beautiful. Elizabeth, did this happen out of necessity? If so, I'm sorry. That can be kind of the most fun purchase. Oh, gosh. Lisa, perfect and people will always be dumb. See, that's the other thing. I do feel like I'm afraid not to give grace because I say the wrong dumb thing so much. Just like I just did with Elspeth when I was asking her if I could just give it away, and I should have asked her in public. I mean, not in public. That's what I'm saying. It's hard for me to assume that people have bad intent because I say dumb things without bad intent. Does that make sense? I will, Nikki. Thank you. Don't worry about that. It's fine. It's fine. I will. Mel said, so glad you have us and beverage and knitting. I love this productive kind of conversation we're having. I do too. Chris said, from personal experience, I can tell it may have been regional. I don't know. I don't know her that well. If it's generational or regional, nothing you say will make the change. Oh. Humor usually works for me. Something like, hey, what year is it? It's not 1954, But I had a moment where I went back in time today. Misery said, hi, this started right when I was dropping my son at school for last day of term. Exciting. Chris said, calling them out on it helps the target. What needles am I using? These are the pink Likey. Some people say Likey. Licka? I don't know. Interchangeable ones. Elizabeth said, kind of, my daughter's beater car is done, so I gave her mine and got something else. Wow. That was wonderful. I mean, is it fun to get a new car? It's always fun, right? Marie said, not okay is a great comeback, back much better than what I would have said. Maybe I should have just said, hey, not okay. I don't know. Sunny said, I had 3 sewing machines tuned up, cost $500. Holy cow, plan on selling 2. I'm spinning, knitting, and weaving now. Oh, not sewing is what you mean. Elspeth said, I had an actor say some inappropriate things to me on set in front of the crew. I quipped something back, can't remember what, and that made it clear it wasn't okay, but he could save face. Candy said, it's so hard to say why the person would say what they did. I dislike the word in. Oh, do you? Candy said, I dislike the words indigenous people, but apparently that's the correct term for me now. I didn't know that, Candy. Which tribe? Elizabeth said, under the veil of humor. Yeah, I just don't know how to address it with the. I would like to be able to do it so that the person could save face and still know, like, hey, not nice. Abir said, Elsbeth, you are too kind. Hello, Melissa. Carrie said, may I ask what you prefer? What you prefer? Oh, instead of indigenous people, what Candy does? Okay. She said, I say call. John said, not okay, Cupcake. If John calls you Cupcake, it's not good. I know a lot of people probably think that's a term of endearment, but it means something has gone very wrong. Carrie said, dang it, typing is hard. I say call people what they request you call them. That's interesting, Candy. Candy said Native American, I suppose, Carrie, but Indian doesn't bother me one bit either. Bye, Chris. Mel said, so word came out of my mouth weird today in my car with my kid. Teen said, Mom, you should not say that way. It will get you canceled. Always learning right. And that's how I feel, Mel. Like, I would never do it on purpose. And that's why I'm not assigning her any bad motive, if that makes sense, because I don't think that way. So I'm not sure. Okay. Lee said, okay, I was told the word tribe is now not good. Is that true? Lee, you know what? I have been told that. And then I went back and researched the word, and that word goes back thousands of years. It's used to, like, describe the 12 tribes of Israel. It's used to describe, like, Viking groups, Celtic groups. So I've chosen to keep it. But if someone can really convince me that I'm using a word that is bad, I will stop. I just don't. And it has only been said to me once, also. Aaron said, Candy, my best friend is Cherokee and she prefers Indian. Hello, Joanne. I don't know. This wasn't like that. Where it's like there's, I don't know. I guess there's not really a gray area that way either. Candy's Penobscot. Did I say it right? Out of Maine. Carrie said, thanks, Candy. Candy said, welcome, Carrie. Venus said, I say sweetie pea the way John says cupcake. Nikki said, I'm indigenous also, and Indian is a derogatory term used for my people or really any Canadian indigenous person. Right. I mean, I think that's what she's saying, that she doesn't like that term. I don't know. I guess we all have different opinions. I don't know. I don't get an opinion on that particular issue. Lisa, that's what I thought too. OMG, I can't keep up with all that. See, it's going to be us someday. We're going to be old and we're going to say stupid things. I say stupid things now. Lisa said, I think the word tribe describes this group well. I say keep it. Well, and if you actually look it up, and I did when it was said to me, because I was like, I don't want to do that if we're being offensive. And it was like a group of people that are all tied together by a commonality. Like it could be your ethnicity, but it could also be something like this, like we all love the yarn. So, and the fiber, and so we're the fiber tribe. Mel said the only thing we can do is do better than we did the day before. Abir said I come from a tribal system and very proud of it. Trish, we are a tribe of like-minded people who belong to the same fiber DNA. That's how I feel, Abir. Thank you. If I was really hurting someone for real, I would have to think through though. Candy said it perfectly, Trish. Some friends joke and call it hopscotch. Isn't there actually a town or something called Penobscot? Jurup said, I am an Indigenous person from Australia. I prefer Faboriginal. I like that. I like that a lot. Lee said already there. You are not. Stop it, Lee. Elspeth said, I'm one of 6 kids. We call each other our tribe, our family grouping. Exactly. Nikki said, I think it depends on in the country what terms are correct for the I don't know what tubes should have been. I'm trying to think about the keyboard. Terry said, you don't have to be old to say stupid things, but sometimes it helps being old because you're like, I goofed. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind if I'm old. I hate saying stupid things. And I do it, and I've done it my whole life. So here we go. Mel said, well said, my friend. Hello, Teresa. You can't remember if there's a town? I feel like there is, but I could be wrong. And like in Maine. Marie said there used to be a Penobscot building in Detroit. Maybe that's where I've heard it. Oh, okay. So, it should have been tribe. Correct. In the country, what terms are correct for the tribes in that nation? Oh, I see what you're saying. So, like, if you're in Australia, it's one thing. Is that what you're saying? If you're in Canada or the U.S.? Candy said, I always think of tribe as a group of people, except when speaking of children, then it's a herd. It's a pack. Elsbeth said, wasn't one of the characters on MASH from Penobscot? Oh, maybe. I loved MASH. Nikki said, I just know what is okay in Canada. Venus said, haha, sometimes it's not the keyboard, autocorrect does. That's true. Oh my gosh, Venus, that happens to me all the time. Okay, Redhead Knitting said, yes, there was a Revolutionary War battle there in Penobscot. John said we had to make an agreement. This is true. This is a true story. When we first got together, we were dating and we made an agreement. And he said we had to make an agreement when we first got together because saying dumb stuff is my native language. So the agreement was if he said something and it could be taken like a bad way or a good way, that I would choose to take it in a good way. And I have stuck to it for the most part. Once in a while, he hits me with a zinger, and I'm like, what? So I have to work at it. That's awful. He's a good man. Candy said, even Native American tribes can be clans or bands. I've heard bands before. Uh-oh, Lee, you clingier. What does that mean? Donald Penobscot. Was that his last name? Venus said autocorrect is not my friend. Same. Nikki feels the same way. It was Hot Lips' husband, Donald Penobscot. Thank you, Mel. Did you remember that, or did you have to look it up? Misery said, I got told off for using the term people of color when saying something about how blackface is bad. My reasoning is it isn't something that only affects. Oh. Well, I do think intent matters too. You know? Sometimes you just have to learn. And sometimes you just make a mistake. And it's this, that's what makes that one tough. Abir said John is brilliant. I mean, I don't like to think that I'm trying to take things badly, but maybe I do jump to that. I don't know. Candy said autocorrect is no one's friend. Hello, Shaylee. Terry said Penobscotch was the name of Houlihan's husband. Thank you. From the show MASH. You guys are so good. Oh, Mel loved MASH. I did too. But I didn't remember that. I don't know if you guys can hear the snoring, but there is snoring happening in this chair with me. Oh, Joanne said working on sock 5 from 52 weeks, and I think there are some words missing. Until 9 stitches remains. Slip slip knit means slip slip knit to the end. I will look it up, Joanne. Which one is that? Can you tell me the name of it? Erica said, if the offensive human keeps it up, you can just pull your end. Yes. Well, I did do that already, Erica. I was like, I got to get out of here. I can't. I'm sorry, Candy. I just finished the 15th pair of this today. And that means I have a solid 8 days to work on something that is not socks. And I'm going to, oh wait, I was going to show you. I'm going to make the mittens finally to go with this hat. Remember this hat? I'm going to knit the mittens. Unity. Okay, I will look. Off the top of my head, I can't tell you without looking at it. Heel turn section. No, I'm going to have to look at it. Candy said, oh yeah, get on that, Trish. Okay, so this is like 3 years old, at least. Ends, not woven in. Mittens, never made, never been worn, even with just tucking this in. Nope. But I want to wear it. See, talking about it is making me sweaty again. Erica said that is a cool hat. Isn't it so cool, Erica? It's called Norland. Norrlund, I think. Abir said, now for something completely different. Christmas is 99 days away. Mal is still knitting the Cinnabar shawl. John said, were the missing words swear words? Probably. Lee said, I always blame the person who brought the dirt to the community pool. Don't make me say dirt on YouTube. That's not one that I say a lot. Venus said, I made cherry nut bread one day and texted my granddaughter to tell her, and she texted me back laughing, and I reread my text and auto changed nut to butt. Sounded real appetizing. Candy said, I have my book right here. I'll check it. Thank you, Candy. Yeah, mine's in the living room, too. Elspeth said, a beer. Wow, that's a lot. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Mel. You need your AC. Thank you, Nikki said, it's a beautiful hat. Jerup said, time to go get out of bed and go swimming because the pool opened yesterday. Oh, my gosh, you're just going into summer. I'm so jealous. Marie said, I love that hat pattern. You need to make the mittens. I have already gotten out the yarn and I re-downloaded the pattern because I have a different phone from when I knitted the hat. Venus said, your hat is beautiful. The mittens will be just as beautiful. I think I'll like them. You know, I like mittens better than gloves because when it keeps your fingers all together, like the heat stays in, you know what I mean? They heat each other up. Joanne said yes, but not in the book. What size? She said the heel turn, Candy. A beer said, guess what I did? I ordered the Fibre advent calendar from Wow. That's exciting. Terry said, I'm working on a non-fiber project. I took some fleece, put 2 pieces together with batting in it, and now I'm taking cotton thread and, you know, like cotton and tying it like, yes, like old quilts were done. Beer said, Elspeth, what did I say? Hey, Rox. Rox, I was just knitting on TikTok, like live with some friends, and one person was here when you came into an old live, and she said she almost passed out. Elspeth said, well done, Abir. I missed your videos. Yeah, have you been sewing, Abir? I just cleaned and oiled my sewing machine in like plans to sew more, and then that's all I did. That sounds like me, doesn't it? Lisa said mittens are the best. Melanie said I keep finding you live by accident. You got to push the little bell, Melanie, and then you'll get notifications. Venus said I prefer convertible mittens. I didn't think about that. Lee, maybe I could do that though. Lee said sometimes I like what autocorrect says rather than what I intended. If I beat my pants laughing, I figured the other person. Uh-oh, did autocorrect just do that? Oh, Marie said, Abir, that sounds fun. Abir said, when the Fibre arrives, yes, show it to us. I would kind of like to see it. Rock said, LOL, I'm just a Midwestern knitter. No one special. Okay. Whatever you say. But we all know that's a lie. Candy said, yeah, that's pretty confusing, Joanne. Is it? I knit those socks. Unfortunately, I do not remember the heel turn from those particular ones right off the top of my... I've knit 10 pairs since then, but I will look. Abir said, I haven't done anything this summer. However, I have big plans now that I'm back. So you're going to be sewing. What are you sewing? Did your, was it a niece and nephew? I know you made shirts, button-down shirts for a couple nieces and nephews, or just one or the other. Elspeth said, my notifications never work. Hell, I still log in and hang around every... Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That makes me sad. I am sorry about that. It will not be regular Sundays for a while. I can tell you that. And I'm trying to figure out how to make the schedule more manageable, kind of. Knit one, slip one, repeat until 9 stitches remain. Yes. Okay. So yeah, you knit one and slip one until there are 9 stitches left. I think that must be one that is supposed to be done on 2 needles. I don't do it that way, but on that half of the sock, there's 9 stitches left. Then you slip, knit, and then you turn your work. Elizabeth said I didn't want it to make you sad. I just feel bad because schedule-wise, I don't know what's going on, and I feel bad that you were here waiting. Like, that makes me sad. Caitlin said, hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. What did I miss? Caitlin. You miss me and my freezing up in awkward social situations. Erica said, I'm excited my garden is done. Just a little canning left, but looking forward to spinning and knitting and dyeing season again. It's been a hell of a summer. Oh, whoops, I missed it. John said mine didn't work either, but I have an inside line to the live schedule. Yeah, I go in his office and I go, I'm going to go live for an hour. Okay. Elspeth said, lucky duck. Mel said, I will try to remember to text you. That's so cute when I see notifications. He's so helpful. Okay, Abir said, I made clothes for this last trip, and now I know what worked and what shouldn't be ever made ever again. Oh, I want to knit a Halloween sweater and make a few socks. I'm also in need of a few kitchen towels. So you're very organized that way. Excuse me. Ragweed is knocking me out. Candy said, ah, yes, reading the next row. That makes sense since the purl side row. So yeah, then you turn your work. Was that a toe up sock? Is Joanna even still here? Because if that was a toe up sock, I think that might have been a Fleagle heel. Rox said, I saw it on Instagram, I think. Where did I see that? I just finished a super cozy, bulky weight cardigan with vintage coat buttons, and I can't wait to wear it. It was 84 degrees today. Dang it. I know, it was about the same here. Okay, Joanne said, on 5, when I turn, what happens? Okay, it's top down. Okay, so you turn and you just leave those. You knit back, and what'll happen is as you go back and forth, you are basically consuming one stitch on either edge. So you will keep going back and forth and grabbing one stitch over here, then one over here, then one over here, until you get all those stitches worked. I think that's one of the reasons why this sweater hasn't moved in a couple of weeks, because it's been kind of hot to keep it in my lap, and it's getting big. Abir said, I'm slowly replacing my store-bought clothes with the ones I make. Once I put on something that fits, it's hard to go back. I would think. Are you learning, like, how to tailor, which is a little different than sewing, if you know what I mean? Candy said they just chill out on the other needle. It should create a gap. Yes, they just hang out there. Caitlin said, I've decided to no longer do business with one of the local yarn shops as the new... Oh, Caitlin. Well, Caitlin, that is one of the things we don't normally discuss here, but I will say I do not blame you. That sounds uncomfortable. I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. It is, Joanne. Every time you slip, knit, or knit 2 together, or purl 2 together is probably what you have to do. You are making 2 stitches into 1. So each time you do that, you are decreasing. Does that make sense? Did I say that right? Yeah. Rock said, I'm trying to do the same thing, make things when I need something new. Candy said, you'll be for sure decreasing, Joanne. Susie said, exactly which thing? I don't know. Right, the slip knit is a decrease, and then on the wrong side, you probably purl 2 together, so you take 2 stitches and turn them into 1, so you are decreasing. Susie said, I happen to be knitting the Rebel cardigan, and it's the same color. Oh, really? John picked it out, Susie. Tailor, not yet. Adjust, definitely. I'm tweaking a pattern. So do you make a muslin? Why do I want to know so much? Because you know I'm not going to start sewing. But maybe I will. I mean, I did sew some this year. Okay, Susie said, yep. Elizabeth said, I'm getting to be a pro at slip knit and purl 2 together on this entrelac blanket. I bet you're practicing a lot. Caitlin said, sorry. No. She said, sorry for being negative, but the good news is that my state has a lot of local yarn shops. It's totally okay to bring things here that, aren't all like happy, positive or whatever. We just usually keep religion and politics, because it seems like those things divide us, and I want us to remember the things that keep us together. Candy said, you'll have to pop a pic of the sweater in group, Rocks. Rox said, I have to go for our evening walk. So glad I caught you all. I've missed you. I've missed you guys. I've missed you too, Rox. Well, I have seen you, actually. I've watched some of your videos. So Terry said I haven't shown since, like, my daughter was a baby, and that was 23 years ago. Oh, sewn. But I got some patterns, and I'm going to sew for my granddaughters. What is that? Sew for them, maybe? Abir said, a wearable muslin, you can say, I wear my mistakes, I mean inventions. I like that. When I knit, I usually do that. I'm just like, well, I can always do something with if it doesn't fit. You know, I can give it to someone else or whatever. Candy said, have a nice walk. I did that a lot when I was down in New Berlin during the Wisconsin State Fair. Walking? I've been walking these two best friends, and it is literally like trying to walk the two guys from Step Brothers, and I'm not kidding, you guys. It's getting better, but it's wild. Like, imagine John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell are on leashes, and you're trying to take them somewhere. Hey, Jerry. She said, hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Candy said, I'm still sewing. Just tried out some of that Heat and Bond liquid vinyl. Works pretty good. I'm going to have to look that up. I don't know what that is. Is that the, like, squeezy glue? Candy said, yeah, evening walks. We've walked a lot. Okay, Caitlin said, question. How does everyone who has a Kromsky minstrel like it? I love mine. It is wonderful if you wanna spin like very fine yarn, because it has such a light, mine anyway, has such a light tug. Mel said, imagine a small shark on a leash. Is that your puppy? Okay, Terry said, yes, it was supposed to say so for them. Surprise, Karen. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Candy said, my daughter's dogs like to tangle me up in the leashes. One dog is big, one is small. Candy said, comes in a jar to make fabric waterproof, stretch resistant. Cool. I'm going to have to look that up. That would be really nice to put inside like little bags. Elizabeth said, my dogs are great on a walk by themselves. When I try to walk them together, they forget everything they're supposed to do. So I've been walking them together and training them to walk together. And John and I took them on Sunday, and we each took one dog, and it was like mayhem. It was really annoying, honestly. Joanne said, I'm still confused. It says knit one, slip one, repeat until 9 stitches remain, slip, slip, knit. So there are still 7 stitches. Yes. So what happens to those 7 is you turn your work, you purl back whatever it tells you to do on the next row. I don't know how many. And then you will purl 2 together. Then you turn your work again. And when you come back and slip knit across, you'll grab one more. When you slip, slip, knit, there'll be a gap between the last slip, slip, knit and the 7 stitches. And what will happen is you'll grab that last one and you'll combine it with the first one. Then you'll only have 6. Then you'll turn your work again, and you go back and forth and like eat one up every time. Like Pac-Man. Susan said, I've been looking at pre-owned matchless. Candy said, those stitches will get used up when you purl back and do your purl 2 together. One at a time. They will get used up. Abir said, it's almost 4 a.m. Good night. I hope you sleep well. She said, I highly recommend Yorkshire tea. Yummy. Sarah said, Abir, I am finishing a wearable mock-up while listening tonight. Definitely need to make some changes, but still wear it. Uh-oh, my camera again. What in the world? All right, maybe that's my sign. That was weird. I'm fixing it. We've been wondering if I need to just get a new one. What? Yep, you do have to trust it. There's no other way, unfortunately. Oh my gosh, come on. It would be easier if the pattern said turn. I guess I didn't remember that it didn't say that. Did that do it? Yep. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. A beer said, have a good day, Elspeth. Joanne said, okay, I'll trust the system. Candy said, holy cow, beer. Erica said, things that keep this tribe together. Love, fiber, color, Trish, interest, humor. We do laugh a lot. Elspeth said, be kind to yourselves, everyone. Trish, that goes for you too. I'm doing better at that, Elspeth. In fact, I graduated from therapy. Caitlin said, the thing I want is a spinning wheel where I can spin a lot of fibers and one I can travel with. I think that's a good one. It's a bit tall. Somebody's really huffing in her sleep over here. Elizabeth said, Erica, yes, absolutely. Joanne said yes, it would have been nice if it actually said turn your work. I don't know why it didn't. Because a lot of those patterns in that book, I think that's the hard thing about like a collaborative book like that, where each pattern is a different designer, because all of a sudden there's no kind of like norm, or I don't know how you would, there's no format that is uniform across the patterns. Can you, Candy? Jerry said, I love my Joy wheel for travel because I have a regular and a jumbo flyer for it. A Joy is quite a nice wheel to travel with. There's just a little dinky guy, but that's so nice if you want to take it with you. She's got like a whistly breath when she's asleep. Good girl. Oh, Sarah, you can come back and watch it later if you really want to, right? Elizabeth said, yes, it seems like the book is assuming a certain amount of experience with socks to start with on the part of the knitter. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I am very lucky because I have that experience, and I think it makes me blind to that sometimes. Susie said, I love my Lendrum. I have spun on one Lendrum, and it was so nice. I don't even know the different like models, but was it a Lendrum? Yes, it was a Lendrum. And it was beautiful. And it did fold. I believe that the treadles like folded up against it, and she could just carry it like flat. Mel said, I wonder if there's errata available. There is errata available on the Lane website. But that's not an error per se. It's just them not telling you to turn your work. Susie said, yes, it does. Okay. Elizabeth said, I hate that Lendrum is gone. I was in the process of saving for when that happened. Well, Elizabeth, you know what? When it's the right time, one will show up for sale. There is errata on the Lane website. I have actually looked at it for, I think, the very first one. Erica said, if you are a sock fool, Elizabeth, you might just buy the book and put it on your shelf and admire it from afar. Erica, that sounds like the voice of experience. Lisa said, I have the Lendrum that folds flat, but I never fold it down. It spins beautifully. Anne said I was about to chime in and suggest a Lendrum. The MOAs, I don't know what that is, are, oh, mother of all, duh, are easy to change out and everything packs easily into a travel bag backpack. Candy said it's not a beginner book for sure. Elizabeth said, you're right, Trish, one will show. It will show up when it's the right time. That happened to me with my minstrel. It still hasn't happened with my rose, but I'm just assuming that it just hasn't been the right time yet. I really don't want another wheel. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I don't. Karen said, sorry, I bought a Mighty Wolf, the 4-8, and they threw in a Louette spinning wheel. Wow. Erica said, I know this because it is true for me, but I will try again as winter comes on. I have enjoyed knitting them, and I think I have a lot of pretty socks that I maybe wouldn't have picked the patterns for just because I end up preferring my yarn choices more. But I have noticed that because it's a different pattern writer for each sock, that there's no uniformity in the way that they say things or explain things, and that does make it kind of weird. Anne said I have a Lendrum and a matchless. My Lendrum is my go-to because it's just so easy to spin on. Okay, after this I'm going to purl one more row and then I'm going to go. If I have even enough yarn, I don't even know. Might need to attach a new hank. Mel said, did you see that Louette guy started another company with his daughter? I did not. What is it? Is it another wheel company? Joanne said, yeah, only my second pair of socks. Joanne, just trust the process because after this, it's going to make more sense. Susan said, so will I regret a matchless as a beginner? Susan, I think no. I believe that a matchless is a really good wheel that a beginner can spin on, but it will grow with you for a good amount of time. It's more flexible than a lot of beginner wheels. Candy said, I'm working on my second basic unisex sock by Cozy Sock Store. It's a free, easy pattern. Karen said, I spun on the Louette and it loves to spin fine yarn. Karen is a spinner, y'all. I know that because I know how much fiber she buys. I'm just kidding. Elizabeth said, I will get through the book eventually, but I need to just knit more vanilla socks to get my structure knowledge down. I feel like I'm about ready to jump back in. Well, you've had a lot going on. Bye, Mel. It was nice to see you. Candy said, I'm actually finally spinning up my clown shoes. Ooh. I loved that one, Candy. Marie said, Roxanne might have a video. Karen, I'm glad you found that funny. Teresa said, my first wheel was a matchless. Did you think it was a great wheel to start out on, Teresa, or did you think it was too much? Susan said, what fiber do you recommend from your store for a beginner? So for me, I always recommend, and I used to have beginner, a package of, I think, 6 ounces of different fibers for beginners. I might still have one that's not listed. I think I might have one. It was BFL, Romney, and Corriedale. And I don't think those are the only good ones to start with, but I think those are 3 good ones to start with. There are other ones that are great to start with, I'm sure. Mel said, okay, pickup delayed. I can stay. Uh-oh. I hope everything's okay. Teresa said, yes, I did think it was a good wheel. Karen said, let's not talk fleeces I need to process or have processed. Same. John's going to turn off the outdoor water probably in a month. And I really need to get fleece washed because I don't like washing it inside as much. Obviously, it's just harder to do. Whoops. Susie agrees. Thank you. Anne said, Trisha, I've been spinning some of your Polworth silk, Catherine Summer. It spins so well. It's a pleasure. Thank you. I'm so glad. I'm going to have to look that colorway up. I'm so glad that you like it. That is a favorite base, and I will be buying it again. I'm almost done with the bump that I had. So Karen said Romney is a really good one. I think that's a very good one for beginners. Erica said my first was a Louette, inherited a Lendrum and Elizabeth wheel, and sold them for the flat iron, which I love. I also now have a EEW 6.1 for travel, also love. I will, Susan. Where do I let you know, though? I feel like one of them went missing, and I found it later, and I'm thinking, like, do I still have that? That happens once in a while to me. If you've been here, you probably know. In fact, Hope's not here, but Hope's last order, she ordered a hank of sock yarn, and I realized that at some point I gave somebody else a wrong one because I had two different bases but the exact same colorway, and I swapped them. Teresa said when I started taking lessons, the first wheel she tried to teach me on was an Ashford traditional. I almost quit spinning. She switched me to the matchless and it clicked. Karen. Oh, excuse me, ma'am. Karen said throw them in the swimming pool and pull them back out in the spring, except for then I have to clean the pool. Oh. Yeah, okay. Kylin said, hi, all late arrival, just left classes. Oh, how fun. Okay, there's a gnat in here. From DFW Fibre Fest. What was the class you took? Candy said, I don't recommend fiber with silk. I don't either. For a first spin, I don't recommend any blend, really. Oh. Okay. Elizabeth said, agree, I have a ton of fleece to get through. At least they're all clean, but I keep getting distracted by Trisha's fiber. Well, I haven't had, Candy said, I don't remember a Polworth silk. I haven't had a ton of it in the shop just lately because I used it down to the last few pounds and then didn't touch it for a long time. It just sat in the bottom of a tub. So I'm trying to finish the bump and then I'll replace it. Hello, Tammy. Susie said, amazing that you can knit without looking. Just practice. I used to practice with my eyes shut. No lie. Candy said, I still love the mother of pearl color on whatever base that was. It was BFL silk, yes. I'm sure I'll do that one again someday, Candy, because I love it. Hello, Tracy. Are you out of work? My arm is in an awkward position, though. Because someone's head is right here. Yep, Tracy said, what a surprise as I leave work. So yes, she just left. Venus said, I love the Ashford Traveler, but my favorite is the Kromsky Polonaise. I do not have, the only Kromsky I have is the Minstrel, but I love it. But I do love my Traveler too. I don't have a wheel anymore that I don't love. I gave away that one that was not good. Kylan said, drum carding. Oh, I bet that was very fun. With Henry Clemis. Fun, lots of learning. Karen said, if I gave my daughter a combo to learn to spin well, it'd be a good Ashford traditional and a nice quality, but needs cleaning Romney. I really do. I mean, Romney is great, but I also, like I said, like to give people Corriedale and BFL to start with. Okay, Anne said, Catherine's summer is rust, plum, and burgundy. The plum broke in places and created a lovely pale blue. I'm just going to have to look it up. Rust, plum, and burgundy. That sounds really nice. Maybe I need to do it again. Tracy said, just got finished heading home to knit on a sweater. Lisa asked, and I would like to hear you guys all say what your favorite is. She said, what is your preferred stretchy bind off for a cardigan? So I usually use, I think it's Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off if I want a stretchy one. But there is a lace bind off. I don't know what it's called exactly, but you like knit 2 stitches and then you transfer them back and knit them through the back loop. And then you knit 1 more stitch and do the same thing. Like you keep knitting it again. That is very, very stretchy. I used to use that, but now it's Jenny's surprisingly stretchies, right? I do it kind of tightly though, Lisa. When I do the Jenny's on a sweater, I do it tightly because it's still very stretchy. Candy said, I haven't bought any fleeces in a while. Everything I do have is clean. Anne said, I really wanted a Betty Roberts wheel. After I bought one, I didn't like spinning on it. They are very hard to treadle. Interesting. Well, just, Lisa, you can always just do like 10 stitches and see how it lays. Elizabeth said, do you keep pictures of the fiber you post forever so you can go back and reference them if you want to do it again? I do keep them forever. Occasionally I lose a couple like by mistake. It's very rare though. I keep the listings forever, but I just deactivate them so that I can go back and look if I want to. And sometimes, weirdly enough, I do go back and just look for inspiration. Because I don't know, some people think it's not good to look at other people's work for inspiration, so I don't want to look at other people's braids, but I look at photographs and I look at my own history sometimes for inspiration. Not to try to copy it, but sometimes it'll spark something else. Like I'll be like, oh, that would be really cool if I added green and then some gray. Oh, you like that one, Nicole? Nicole, just looked at your shop. It's fall, y'all. I just did a batch of sock yarn that is kind of based on that, but I added some like sprucey green to it. Wait, Lisa said, I will try that. I was just doing the Haya Grandmas and I don't like the look of it. I don't even know if I know that one. Anne said, I have 1 more fleece to wash, a 6-pound tassel. I've never washed or spun tassel before. Anything I need to look out for? I think that's a pretty easy one. Just, does it have a lot of VM? I think that's a pretty easy one, honestly. Nicole said it's been fall all summer in Alaska. Have you not had a very nice summer? Yeah, Karen, that is a good option though if you want it to like look really fancy and finished. Karen said if I want to get fancy, I do a tubular, but I rarely get fancy. I mean, it does a little more work, but it always looks good. Andra said, might try the half hitch bind off if you don't mind a sewn by. Oh, that's a good one. But I don't know if this is it. Is that the one where you go back over 2 and drop 1 off and then back over 2 and drop 1 off? Anne said, not much VM. It was a blue ribbon winner at Kentucky Fleece and Fiber. Nice. Nicole said, no, so much rain and now winter is coming. Yeah. Lisa said, it was so cold when we traveled through Alaska this past summer. Oh. Anne said, ooh, oh my gosh, you guys. Reprieve. I just dropped 2 stitches. That means I won't be gone as fast as I thought. She said, how's tassel for knitting? I really, really liked it. But I don't know like what an award winner would be like. You know, there's always so much variation over any breed that yours could be all kinds of things, you know? Candy said, that's funny, Nicole. Candy said, I don't know what my favorite stretchy one is. Susie said, bye, Susie. Kathy said, hi. Trish, so happy to see you. We'll watch all after work, just on a quick break now. Hope the trip is well. Andrew said half hitch is a little less fussy than tubular, but I do have to look up a video each time. I had that forever when I learned to do the Norwegian cast on. Norwegian is German twisted and also Norwegian, right? Oh, Mel, that's a great idea. She said, Rox has a good video on sewn bind off. I like it better than Jenny's and it seems neater. That's the one I'm thinking of, isn't it? Where you go back over two and like you drop off one. Lisa said, not familiar with half hitch bind off. I wanted to do the sewn, but afraid to commit to it with so many stitches. We'll give that one a go with a cuff. That's a good idea. Okay, finish my row. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I don't know when I will be back live. I just don't know. So we're just right now trying to do what makes sense and then do the other stuff that I have to do that is separate from here. And I still don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I know what's going to happen, but I don't know when it's going to happen. So we're just trying to take it day by day. I appreciate that. And I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'm going wedding dress shopping with my future daughter-in-law tomorrow. So I love you guys. See you soon. Bye.